we'll start with the Rising event. So, here is the quest for the 10th anniversary Rising event 2023. Oh, if it ain't Daren. It's always a pleasure, my friend. And how fortuitous that you should appear now, when I'm in need of help again. Pray hear me out. You see, my brother recently wrote saying he wished to meet me in Ul'dah during the Rising celebration. However, the appointed hour has come and gone, but I've seen neither hide nor hair of him. I checked the likely places in the city, but to no avail. I'm beginning to worry. If it ain't too much trouble, I might ask you to help me find him. I'm in your debt. Now, my brother is a youth, 16, by the name of Nagy. Recently became an adventurer, something he aspired to since he was little. Being an adventurer yourself, perhaps you know of him, if not cross paths. Not only did you meet him, you helped him on his way, you say? What an amazing coincidence. That being said, it doesn't necessarily mean you know where he is now. If he isn't in the city, though, chances are he went outside on some business. To begin with, I propose we split up and make inquiries in case someone's seen him. You could focus on this area. I'll speak with those in the quicksand. Afterwards, let us reconvene by the entrance to the tavern. Greetings, adventurer. How may I assist you? Oh, Nagy, I understand he's doing some work for the Wandering Minstrel. Dare say his client can point you in the right direction, if you can track the man down, that is. Afraid I don't know his whereabouts at present. Something you need? Oh, Nagy, I know the sprightly lad. Couldn't say where he is now, but last I saw, he mentioned taking on some delivery work. It's a curious one. Gets along with everyone well enough, but doesn't seem to like working in a team. What with talk of bandits prowling the road of late, I can't help but look. Something I could do for you, adventurer. You've business with Bran, best state it quickly. This Gaz has leads to follow and incidents to investigate for the Harbour Herald. I see. Apologies, I haven't seen this, Nagy. As a matter of fact, I've been rather busy working on my upcoming piece on the Rising. Why, earlier I was interviewing the ever-enigmatic Wandering Minstrel. Got another unusual venture in the offing. The Letter Forest, he calls it. That picture interest, I recommend you go see the man. He's at the Gold Court over in the Steppes of Thal. Ah, my dear friend, what a pleasant surprise this is. I trust you've been keeping well. Now then, how might this minstrel be of service? Oh, Nagy's sister wishes to find him. Indeed, I entrusted him with the task. I have an inkling as to where he may be. As you may have heard, the occasion of this Rising celebration, I'm hosting an exhibit called the Letter Forest. All are invited to anonymously submit letters to the forest, express their gratitude and encouragement for another. All might peruse the letters at their leisure. Now, in order to collect the missives from outside of Ul'dah, I dispatched a chocobo carriage. Nagy's escorting said carriage. When he contacted me on Linkpearl a while ago, he said they had emerged from the Twelves Wood on their way back to Ul'dah. Given the hour, they should have already arrived. I know not what is causing the delay, but I might trouble you to look for them. I'd go myself, except I'm needed here at present. Truly grateful. In case it helps, the carriage was meant to pass through the Blackbush station, so perhaps you could take your search to that area. Pray nothing's befallen them. There you are. Were you able to learn all to Nagy? Escorting a carriage for the minstrel. So that's the way of it. As suggested, let's take ourselves to the Blackbrush station. Try searching in the vicinity. Then, no sooner did I arrive, this man came running out of breath. You're an adventurer. Thank the 12. It's the bandit from the Quiversome Manse, fallen on a chocobo carriage over by the clutch. The carriage only had one guard. He was sorely outnumbered. Please, you must help him. Has to be Nagy, with me. Damn it. There's no end to them. We have you now, you stubborn little shite. Enough. Leave my little brother alone, or the 12 as my witness, you'll receive a thrashing as you've never known. From this fearsome adventurer here, that is. That's no ordinary man. Retreat! You alright, Nagy? Sister, and Darren too. You should be the ones to come to my aid. Thank you. You remembered. I've been well, more than that. I'm sorry I didn't come when I said I would, sister. Rest assured I'm not too badly hurt. That's a relief. I'll take a proper look at your rooms back in the city. Must say, quite surprised to learn that you had met Darren. He helped me when I first arrived to Aldar, from registering as an adventurer to completing my first task. Kindly show me the ropes. Now, I suspected that you were a great adventurer, but to send your foes running without even drawing your weapon, that's just incredible. It's a long way to go, embarrassing myself like I did. With sister's approval, I need to grow stronger to be able to fight on my own. My approval? But first things first. Bremont and I have a delivery to make for the Rising. You'll excuse us, we'll hurry back to Ulda. Let's head back as well. I don't mind to pay the minstrel a visit in any case. Welcome back, my friends. Pleased am I to see that Nagy is safe from war. Rising attendants inform me they now have all the letters. This may proceed with the letter Forest has planned. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm late, you see. Were it not for Darren, no telling what might have become of the letters in Bremont. In the end, I was utterly useless. So that's how it happened. As Nagy's client, allow me to thank you as well for coming to his aid. That being said, my boy, you were far from useless. Nay, you bravely defended the carriage until help arrived. There's no need to belittle yourself, sir. But Aaron didn't need to rely on anyone. No, he drove off the bandits with nary more than a stern look. Couldn't hold a candle to it. Like him, I want to be able to deal with any problem without help. Otherwise, I can't claim to be an adventurer worth his salt. The hell? Tell me, all this time have you been working alone, even for dangerous tasks? That's right. Where an adventurer doesn't rely on others. If I'm to be the kind of adventurer you approve of, I must be able to handle anything by myself. I see. If that is what you believe, I can't consent to you being an adventurer any longer. Return to our village and start over. But you were happy for me when I became an adventurer. Working so hard to succeed, to prove to you that I have what it takes, but now... You've developed a grave misconception. Until you recognise what it is, I can't in good conscience approve your calling. If you can't accept this, you wish to remain an adventurer, you must win me over. Begins pondering why you first embarked on this path. Right. I'll think on this. I'm sorry you had to see that. Spy out may have appeared, no one wants my brother to succeed more than I do. Succeed and be happy. After all, I know better than any how hard he works. Unless he changes his ways, however, he's likely to die somewhere out there, and even if he managed to stay alive, he would only know an arduous life. That's why I don't go out my way to be gentle when dressing his wounds. If he could just focus on what actually matters, instead he obsesses about gaining my approval and compares himself to others. Truth be told, no matter what Nagy wants to do, it's my intent to support him. It's his life, after all, and no one else's. It isn't my place to interfere. But as it may, he's sabotaging his own aspirations with his obsession for my approval. I can't stand idly by and watch. Though if they happen to impose until my brother has found his answer, I might trouble you to keep an eye on him. Oh, like Kippin, I do not... Hold on, I think I missed him on that. Like Kippin, I do not wish for Nagy to continue on his current path. As a fellow adventurer, please help him find a better one. Thank you. Sorry, the Wandering Minstrel did add a line earlier. Please take it as a request for me as well. Never has the adventuring been dangerous, and it is more dangerous still for one who spurns help. Like Kipper, I do not wish for Nagy to continue on his current path. As a fellow adventurer, please help him find a better one. Now then, on a related matter, I must pay a visit to the Weavers Guild, but I will see you again anon, if you'll excuse me. Nagy said off this way. You may find him at the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. We leave him in your capable hands, my friend. Here. Greetings and welcome to the Letter Forest. Displayed here are messages of gratitude and encouragement, which folk all over the realm have anonymously written. Comes no surprise, but no few messages are addressed to adventurers. Now, we're still in the midst of preparation, but I should be pleased to guide you when all is in readiness. Please return anon. Oh, it's you. What is it? That's, sorry. This is really something I should be doing alone. Still, it's nice to have someone to talk to. Like my sister bade me, I'm pondering why I chose to become an adventurer in the first place. Kipper has looked after me since I was no more than 10, after our parents passed away. She was already a reporter by then, and her work took her to various places. From her, I heard tales about adventurers and came to admire them. Upon learning of the full extent of the impending calamity, she took us to a village in the mountains where our aunt lived. It's desperate times like these that people need stories of hope, she used to say. I believe she wanted to remain in Gridania and continue her work, but she left in order to look after me. I was a burden to her then, to be a burden to her again. That I need to show her I don't need to be dependent on others, that I'm capable adventurer who can handle anything by himself. Ponder as I might, I can't understand what's wrong with that. Well, when in doubt, I suppose I should do what adventurers do and gather information. It would be good, I think, to speak with people like my sister, people who aren't adventurers but are familiar with them. Who in Aldar would fit that description? Of course, who else but Miss Modi? In her capacity as guild representative, she is bound to have some valuable insights. I'll seek her out at once. I still remember when I first came here to sign up. I was a nervous wreck then. Now this place feels like a second home. Come all the time for crumpets. Make them so springy and serve them drowning in butter and honey. Sorry, now isn't the time for that. Come, let's have a chat with Miss Modi. Well now, if it isn't Darren and Nagy, to what I owe the pleasure of both your companies today. I was hoping to get your advice on a certain matter. The misconception you've developed about being an adventurer is an interesting one, I have to admit. Try as I might to figure out, I keep coming around in circles. I thought you might be able to offer some insight. This is just a gut feeling, but I reckon I understand your sister's trying to say. Tell me, Nagy, suppose you fail to get your sister's approval, what would you simply give up being an adventurer? Would it all become meaningless? From this here counter, I indeed have seen off many an adventurer, each and every one unique, with dreams and destinations all their own. But in spite of their differences, they all share something in common, a reason for first embarking upon their journey. Darren, do you mind telling us why you chose the adventurous life? How very like you. Keep that reason close to your heart now. You hear? And you, Nagy, what inspired you to become an adventurer? It's simple. I heard about adventurers from my sister and became infatuated with the lives they led. Then I wanted to be able to see the world. Help those in need. Then isn't that enough? Your sister's approval or no, you have a reason all your own. Number 12. I see it now. At some point my desire to prove myself to Kipper had displaced my motive for being an adventurer. It's a misconception Kipper wanted me to recognise. What a fool I've been. Wanting someone's approval isn't wrong in and of itself. It's got nothing to do with why you're an adventurer. It shouldn't force you to do things you wouldn't otherwise do, like trying to handle everything alone. That's enough for me today. I've said my piece. What you do now is up to you. Thank you for helping me realise, Miss Mullen. Think nothing of it. It's my job to watch over you all. Nothing makes me happier than to see you happy, doing what you do. Thank you for accompanying me. I know now what to say to Kipling. Loath I am to trouble you again. There's something else I'd like your help. You see, other letters we collected from Limsa. One was from an explorer who was seeking an escort for an expedition. By now that letter should be on display in the Gold Court. I wanted to show it to my sister. I'd be grateful if you could help me find it. Come, let's rejoin the minstrel. Right, yeah. Ah, welcome back. Dare I hope you were able to find your answer? Yes, to say, Miss Momodi helped me come to realization. When I go to speak with my sister, you see, by all means, feel free to borrow the letter. Does it have any distinguishing characteristics? As I recall, there was a large drawing of a blue chocobo. Very well, let's search together, more swiftly to find it. Dear not-so-new adventurer, as a travelling merchant, I've had my fair share of happy encounters. Sharing a carriage with you stands out above them all. For you see, I went on to sell veritable crate loads of the ring I gave you. Turned enough of the profit to buy my own carriage. You shared with me your adventurous luck, and I count my blessings every day. No matter where I go, I often hear tell of your exploits, and it makes me inordinately proud to have met you. Till we meet again, my friend, I pray for your continued safety and success. While contents ring a bell, this letter wasn't written by an explorer, nor was it bear a drawing of a blue chocobo. It wasn't the missive Nagi's looking for. As someone charged with the city's peace, cannot overstate how much of a boon adventurers are to our efforts. Some folk had expressed concern the increase in drifters would see corresponding rise in crimes. On the contrary, they are steadily declining. Soldiers like ourselves are somewhat limited in the scope of our duties. We are not always able to lend our citizens what assistance they need. Thus, would I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to adventurers who step up to fill the void. Esteemed adventurer, should you chance to read this letter, I pray it finds you well. Much time has passed since you helped us rebuild in the wake of that terrible disaster. We still remember you most fondly. Our lives continue to be hard. Every day brings new challenges. Nevertheless, we've regained a semblance of what we once had. And smiles are beginning to return to faces. The morrow will be brighter than today. This we dare to believe now thanks to you. And should you yourself face hardship, I pray you believe the same. Ooh, don't do that. Dear adventurer, out fares your journey. Mine continues. Wake up to the sound of birdsong. Lie down to sleep beneath the moonlight as I seek unablaze trails. Long ago, when an adventurer aided me, I was made to realize how alike we are. Deep down, we are simply travelers who thrill to make new discoveries. Thus do I write this letter now in the hopes of recruiting such like-minded souls to join me on an expedition. If you at all share my desire to make the uncharted charted, I invite you to seek me out the drowning wench in Linsa. Eagerly do I await your coming. There's the drawing of a blue chocobo. Must be the missing. Look over here, how about you? Blue chocobo, yes, this is the one. What's left is to talk to Kipper. Do you know where she is? She went to the Weavers' Guild, saying she had business there. Perhaps she's buying clothes. Anyway, I'll look for her there, thank you. For this too, might I trouble you accompany Nagi? Afterwards ask you tell me how events unfold. I'll wait you at the Ruby Road Exchange. You're here too. I must confess I feel rather nervous, so I appreciate your presence. Oh dear, you came to find me. I apologise for taking so long. To begin with, I want you to look at this. Explorers assembling an escort for an expedition. Certainly sounds exciting. I'm wanting your approval. I was determined not to rely on others, but part of me dearly wanted to be part of the expedition. To go where I dare not set foot alone. So I've decided I will answer the invitation. This means you've given up on trying to do everything alone? I'd wanted to prove to you I'm capable. I'm no longer a burden. In my obsession, I lost sight of why I became an adventurer in the first place. To see what lies beyond the horizon, lend a helping hand to those I meet. That's what drives me. I was able to remember this thanks to Miss Mamodian Day. Whether or not you approve, I want to continue adventuring off for my own reasons. Is that alright with you? Didn't you just say you didn't need my approval? To be clear, I never actually intended to stop you. Do you remember what you once told me, shortly before the calamity struck? Did you interview adventurers again today? What were they like? What kind of place have they been to? You never get sick of hearing about adventurers, do you? Never ever. When I grew up, I want to be an adventurer too. That's a fine aspiration as any. Do you know what kind of adventurer you wish to become? Hero, like in the tales, perhaps? Oh no, not a hero. Adventurers are free spirits, and I want to be the freest of them all. Oh yes, I'll travel the world, meet lots of people. When I visit home, you can interview me as much as you like. For that boy to spurn help, for want of my approval, I couldn't bear to see it. In order to bring you to your senses, I may have spoken a little stern. As an adventurer, you will experience no small amount of hardships. You choose your path because you wanted to be free. So don't let yourself be shackled by expectation, be it your own or that of others. Instead, take things as they come. So long as you are true to yourself and recognise your limits, you will surely find the way forward. Remember, not even heroes can accomplish everything alone. Relying on others doesn't make you a lesser adventurer. If anything, the freer we are, the more we need to look out for one another. And that, I believe, is a little the essence and beauty of adventuring. Wouldn't you agree? Understood. I won't ever forget this. Knowing you, I expect you're roaring to answer the explorer's petition in Slaminsa. You'll be taking an airship, yes? In which case, I shall give you these garments to you now. I had them made for you, thinking it was past time you had something a little better. Me, thank you so much. Must thank you too. You're the kind of adventurer I admire. I'll keep working hard to be like you. I couldn't have asked for a better person to watch over my little brother. I appreciate everything you've done for him. Look forward to meeting you again, be it for a story or something else. Till next time. You see the siblings off, safe in the knowledge that all will be well. Time to rejoin the wandering minstrel and relate to him the tale's happy conclusion. Welcome back, my friend. Judging by your expression, I take it all went well with Nagy and Kipper. I see. I'm pleased to hear that. When we first set on our journeys, it is usually for the simplest of reasons. Yet as we make our way, those reasons may become lost in the haze of motives, causing us to lose sight of what truly matters. In such a time, if we can but remember what prompted us to take our first step, we will always find the strength to take the next. Nagy will be fine, I'm certain of it. My thanks for keeping an eye on him. These events have inspired a new verse in me. A verse about the dreams of those who seek new worlds, and the hopes of those who see them all. Greetings, warrior of light. This is a world that exists outside your reality. Could it be a dream? A flight of fancy conjured by your weary mind? Perhaps, or perhaps not. It is a pleasure to meet you again. As I have in the past, I have beckoned you here that I might express my gratitude. 10 years have passed since the world was reborn from its ashes, since we set forth on this journey. Countless things have happened during that time. I've had the pleasure of meeting many an adventurer along the way. If truth be told, it hasn't always been easy. There are moments when I wonder why I must struggle so, days when I'm tempted to cast it all aside. But in spite of this, I always manage to carry on. And it is thanks to my wonderful comrades, and to you, our esteemed adventurers. By now, I must have been regaled with tens of thousands of your tales. Usually share them with a smile, but even when it is with a frown, you tell me that you're still enjoying yourself. It is no exaggeration to say I derive all my driving force from you all. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Ours is an unending journey. Nothing would make me happier than if we could keep walking it together. As you make your way, we promise that we will ever be at your side, matching you step for step. Now, the time has come for this vision to end. It's time for your eyes to open from this waking dream. Much time has passed since the world was reborn from its ashes. Countless souls have made this place their home. Every single one has left an indelible mark upon it. Together we have built this world, and it is our sincerest hope that we shall continue to do so for many years to come. So please be safe and well. May you ever walk in the light of the crystal. I dare say Nagi is aboard the airship by now. I pray he and Kipper will find happiness upon their respective paths. I hope you do so as well, my friend. If you would lend me an ear, I would dedicate these verses to your future. By morning light the journey starts, a trill of hope within our hearts. On westerly winds to river song, into the world where we belong. Of fields of white azure sky, sunset storm a crimson fire, jewels a glitter on pitch black veil, a new dawn day, so goes the tale. By eternal wind we carry on, boldly towards a golden morn, with memories as a guiding star, shining our steps both near and far. Where will you go? Whom will you meet? What will you see? There is no telling what the future holds for anyone. But come what may, I bid you never forget this. The bonds you forge, the memories you make, the footprints you leave behind, they shall one day spur you forward. So pray continue walking your own path. Wherever your journey leads, I will be praying for your happiness. With memories shared, yet all our own, as one we brave frontiers unknown. Thank you for 10 years. So now you have access to a letter forest at the Gold Court. Speak with the tender stationed there to read the letters. Additionally, you have unlocked Koopa Koopa Adventure minigame on the steps of Nald. Speak with Nonora Ruby Road Exchange to play. This along with other minigames will be played, what can be played by opening your toy chest in the inn. And with this, we'll also get the Rising Phoenix Whistle. Hot to the touch, this hand-carved whistle emits a lively shrill that summons your Rising Phoenix. Crested as a token of gratitude for the warrior of light, this majestic familiar assumes the likeness of the phoenix, the immortal bird of legend. Upon death, the creature is said to rise again from its own ashes, on account of which it is revered as a symbol of rebirth. The fires of Ifrit, nay, the phoenix, have taken up residence in my heart, where they will continue to burn forevermore. Okay, so we're going to go through the letters. Displayed here a message of gratitude and encouragement which evoke all of the realm anonymously written. Comes no surprise, no few messages addressed to adventurers. Wish to peruse some letters? I am pleased to guide you. First, from a message board keeper. Many years have passed since we installed the message board on an unassuming street corner. To see it continue to be utilised by adventurers fills me and my fellow keepers with pride. Like a lodestone, the message board draws people together. It is our hope that it keeps serving you well as a means to share information. For our humble part, we will endeavour to maintain the board in good repair, while bringing you news may be of interest. Best wishes, the message board keeper. The choreographist. As a choreographist, my job is to create movements that convey specific emotions, such as a dancer's performance or a mammit's adorable gesture. And though I have the honour of contributing my experience to etiquette, manuals, movement cannot be tangibly preserved in a manner that artwork such as paintings can. From the mesmerising flutter of fabric to the inviting springiness of a buzz, it all passes by in an instant. In light of this, if but one of my steps or flourishes occupy a place in your memory, then nothing would make me happier. Movingly yours, a humble choreographist. One lazy afternoon, as I stood by the Etherite Plaza, I found myself absorbed by the sight of adventurers whiling away their time. Greeting friends who were passing by, practising newly learned dance, sitting on the bench and chatting. Opening umbrellas when it began to rain, tucking into a loaf of bread when peckish. To the untrained eye, they were doing naught out of the ordinary. I, however, saw the fruits of my life work, and it warmed my heart. Dreaming of a day when proper social etiquette is practised by all, be it in a ballroom or otherwise, I will continue my quest to edify. Courteously yours, an etiquette manual writer. Dear adventurer, I am from a theatre set designer, one who is said to have a penchant for designing unusual props for the stage. Some of my labours of love, it thrilled me to discover, have caught your eye, become little companions that follow you around. Modes of transportation. To see my creations, for the stage delight you offered, even in the oddest ones, delights me in turn. It further motivates me in my craft. In hopes I can continue to delight you all, I will endeavour to create ever more interesting props. Yours in whimsy, a theatre set design. Dear adventurer, I am a festival committee member in charge of decorating the cities during celebrations. While decorations are an oft unremarked part of events, some of you have noticed little touches we apply, such as stray bombs, a romantic snowman. It makes our efforts all the more worthwhile. As you continue your adventures, it is our hope the festive ambience we create throughout the year will provide you with joy and respite both. Earthily yours, festival committee member. Recently, my fellows and I have been taking ourselves around the realm, repairing buildings, roads, as well as restoring natural landscapes. This we do as part of an initiative to improve the quality of life for adventurers. Yours is a long journey. What little we could do to ease your way, we gladly do. Constructively yours, a humble architect. Why, you who are reading this letter, I bid you imagine the countless adventurers who call this world home. Dare say it isn't difficult to do so, for that is reality as it stands. But we mustn't take it all for granted, for what we have now is the culmination of much hard work by many souls. Souls included, your good sir. Adventurers breathe life into this world. Each one of you has given rise to a grand tale, and I hope you never forget this. Thank you for taking the time to cast your eyes over these worlds. Wherever your adventures may lead, may you find happiness. With utmost respect, a nameless artisan. I first set foot in this land years ago. Since then I have had the occasion to meet numerous fine adventurers like yourself. Many languages exist. They sometimes act as a wall that divides us. This world, however, is a place where we might transcend that wall and come together in unity. Each and every day you and yours find various ways to forge bonds. In so doing, you gain access to a new world, as seen through different eyes. That is what makes life endlessly fascinating. As you carry on adventuring, I pray you'll be blessed with many such enriching encounters. Yours in understanding and unity, a humble Lingers. Dear adventurer, during the calamity, for a long time afterwards, there was nary a smile to be seen upon faces. Now, however, I often see you and yours walking happily through the city. It never fails to warm the heart. In my mind, you are the symbols of a new era. No one can say what the future holds, but when I see your smiles, I am reassured that somehow all will be well. Sincerely yours, a humble citizen. No worries. Thank you for watching. I used to be an adventurer, but in the course of my travels I developed the urge to recreate for others the sense of marvel that I was experiencing. One thing led to another, and I eventually became a theatre director. My role is to produce spectacular theatre, and nothing is more gratifying than to receive praise from the audience. For a long time to come, I hope to continue creating memorable adventures to share with everyone. Yours an imagination of wonderment, a humble theatre director. As an advertising scribe, I create notices for events and products that you see posted to the message boards. Such information isn't exactly essential for adventuring, but I consider it a job well done. If people are aware of their options, I'll keep striving to deliver information that may be of interest to the adventurers. Thank you always for your kindness and compassion. Communicatively yours, a humble advertising scribe. In all things, it is nice to be able to make changes to better suit your taste. But by the same token, the more choices one has, the more difficult it is to decide what to do. We began posting guides on the message boards as a way to answer questions from adventurers. Before we knew it, we had surpassed 200 items. We couldn't have kept it at it for so long without your invaluable feedback. It makes us truly happy when we hear we could help solve your problems, even in some small way. Encouraged by your praise and driven by your requests, we'll keep working hard to serve you. Should you have any comments or suggestions, please do not hesitate to reach out. We always appreciate hearing from you. Informatively yours, humble guide. All who set forth must invariably pass through the entrance, and while most will not spare the place a second thought, we gatekeepers think naught else day in day out. Our solemn duty is to ensure all adventurers can enter unhindered. This entails keeping signs in good repair and pesky fiends at bay. We're especially attentive when we throw open all the entrances at once, following large-scale maintenance works. Inspired by the eager expression you wear as you set forth anew, we will continue performing our task to the best of our ability. Vigilantly yours, a humble gatekeeper. A stirring story needs a formidable antagonist, one who stands in the protagonist's way, causes them sadness and suffering. When the heroes finally overcome that foe, they will know joy that is as sweet as their struggles were bitter. Those who shared in that joy will go on to become friends true, their bonds transcending age, station, and nations. In order to create such depressing lows and soaring highs, I will strive to conceive of more compelling antagonists. Grammatically yours, a humble player. Someone who composes music for the stage, nothing pleases me more than to hear you are moved by my work. I am humbled to receive your words of appreciation for the concerts we hold and the orchestrion roles we release. For you are my motivation, spurring me to continue composing music that brings the story to life. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Yours, in the melody, a humble theatre composer. It's not actually told me what that noise was for. Thank you. From sword slashing to armour clunking, from water running to leaves rustling, I have the pleasure of recreating for the stage the various sounds that can be heard out in the world. It is a challenge and a thrill to produce these sounds, and we draw inspiration from the knowledge that they are heard and appreciated by me. However, the sounds of play isn't limited to that which we ourselves create, no. They also encompass those made by the audience and the players. It is a collaboration between us, a joint performance, and it is my hope we can continue filling the world with sound together. Acoustically yours, a humble theatre sound design. Final letter from an adventure. I am but a faceless adventurer, one of those who has been in the business for a while without standing out. Recently, menacing towers appeared across the land, and in the wake of which frightening phenomena broke out, the final days or some such. I don't know how you fared during this time, but if truth be told, it was a little overwhelming for me. Gods know I struggled to get by without an apocalyptic threat to worry about. So many things don't go the way I hope, and I often find myself frustrated, discouraged. Well, many times I've wanted to give up, to turn away from everything and everyone. But every time there has been something that has saved me. Be it an awe-inspiring view, kindly stranger. Something has given me the strength to take another step. So come what may, I intend to carry on as far as my path leads. I won't surrender, and I pray that neither will you. Yours in perseverance, a faceless adventure. Now, I believe... I believe that is it. Right, so what I am going to very briefly do, just to check, for checking's sake, where are the stairs that lead upwards? Down here, I believe. We are just going to quickly check if there is any other letters upstairs. No worries. We'll just check if there are any more letters. But if there are not, that will be it for the Rising 10th Anniversary quest. Yes, that's it. But there is one other quest we need to find. The real question is, where is it? Give me just a moment. We'll briefly see what this mini game is. Shit. Wasn't what I was hoping for. Well, this was definitely not what I expected when they said we've added a new mini game. Shit. Shit. I'm gonna take some damage. Shit. Shit. No. You know what? That was actually really cool. It's a very simple game, but I really like it. Right. And now for the other quest. The determined set your jaw, the dynamic presence, as if you were ever ready to leap into action. It's no mistake, you're an adventurer, and a dependable one at that. Tell me, are you familiar with the name Louis Lavelier? Of course you are, Forgive my suddenness. I'm Nananji Nanonji, budding writer, and I seek to pen a biography of the great man. In particular, I wish to cover his movements leading up to the calamity. To that end, I've requested an interview with the Immortal Flames. He served the Orsian Alliance as a tactician, you see, so there ought to be someone in the Order who had dealings with him. While my quest has thankfully been accepted, just one problem. Don't have much experience conducting interviews. I'm worried whether I'll be able to do a proper job. As an adventurer, you're doubtless used to dealing with people. Thus, I would like to ask you to accompany me in the capacity as an assistant. It would be tremendously reassuring to simply have you watching on. If you're amenable, afterwards I'd like to interview you as well for your own impression. Your troubles, send credit you as a collaborator. So please, when you help me in my biography, that memories of the calamity might be preserved for future generations. I'm in your debt. To begin with, please come with me to Clamp Drybone, Eastern Thanalan. It's a place I like to visit ahead of the interview. Camp Drybone, so. There you are. To explain why we're here. Oh, I haven't asked you your name. How am I supposed to credit you if I don't even know that much? Wait. The Darrenacty, champion of Eorzea. Small wonder I felt you were dependable. One such as you helping me, everything will surely go. Back to the business. The interview I've arranged is with an officer of the Immortal Flats. Still time, however, I thought we'd pay a visit to the nearby graveyard first, so I can explain my motivation for the biography. I come from a small village near Cartino Flats. It was burned down in the calamity, and those who died were laid to rest here, my parents amongst them. It's hardly an uncommon tale. After the dread Primal emerged from Dalamud, he unleashed fiery devastation across the length and breadth of Eorzea. As much as the calamity has scarred the realm, it's quickly becoming just another event in the history books. Beyond occasionally giving thanks to the Archons that Eorzea was saved, people spared little thought. When you lost so many loved ones, it's hard to feel that anything was saved. That's why I wish to know more about Louiswa. But learning about his part in Eorzea's salvation, I hope I will attain closure. It's my motivation for writing the biography. Now then, in preparation for the interview, let's review what we know about our subject. It's difficult to define exactly when the Seventh Umbral Calamity was set in motion. Many historians, however, point to the Empire's Meteor Project, which was sought to bring Dalamud down on Eorzea. It was the year 1562 of the 6th Astral Era. Seeking to combat the Imperial threat, Louiswa founded the Circle of Knowing, an order whose objective was the preservation of Eorzea. Through its members, the Archons of Sharlayan, the Circle worked to unite the nations of Eorzea in a common cause. The result was the formation of the Grand Companies in the 3 city-states: the Immortal Flames, the Order of the Twin Adder, and the Maelstrom. None of these would exist now were it not for their efforts. Then in the year 1572, the situation was coming to a head. Louiswa himself made the journey to Eorzea in secret, engaged with each of the nations. What took place during that time is what I seek to learn in the interview. The man we're due to meet is a contact for the Free Brigade, unit formed of adventurers, apparently a Louiswa's assistance for a mission. The meeting place is Eyebridge, to the northeast. It's more or less time now, so let's make our way there. Right, and let's actually see what this new mount is like. You're the one seeking an interview. I myself wasn't expecting to see the champion of Eorzea. I'm Nananji Nanonji, writer who made the request. Darren's kindly accompanying me for the interview. Can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your busy schedule to humour me. Come now, no need of thanks. Like everyone, I hold Louiswa in the highest esteem. If you wish to know more about him, Julian Orbe is always happy to oblige. Without further ado then, let us begin. My understanding is you were dealing with Louisois. Would you please tell me the details? As you know, our grand companies were formed thanks to the Circle of Knowing. It wasn't until Dalamud began turning red that Louisois first appeared. It began with word that an elderly Elizan man had come from Gridania who had the key to vanquishing primates. Upon learning of this, I sent an adventurer of the Free Brigade to make contact with him. Later I learned the Maelstrom and the Order of the Twin Adder had done the very same. At that time, our companies weren't yet collaborating. Each only sought to stay ahead of the others. Truth be told, at first we didn't think much of Louisois. Only he was the leader of the scholars who studied peculiar prophecies. When the adventurers reported back, our opinion of the man completely changed. His spellcraft, Louisois had opened a way into Ifrit's domain. By the hand of dauntless adventurers, the Lord of the Inferno was brought low. Last many defeats preceded that victory. It was reported that countless charred corpses were strewn in the mould of embers. Now the mission also yielded a shocking revelation. Following the battle, Legatus Nail von Darnus, the 7th Imperial Legion, appeared, told the adventurer that the hour of reckoning was at hand. Dalamud would soon fall and cleanse the land. That was when we realized the Empire was behind the Red Moon's anomaly. So thanks to Louisois, you became aware of the Meteor Project. Still, it doesn't seem like you had much to act on. As you say, afterwards we scrambled to learn all we could about the project. For a blessing, we had the cooperation of the Garlean defector, Sid Garland, whom you know well. He revealed the details of the project. It utilized a transmission tower to pluck Dalamud from the heavens, all for the purpose of purging us savages from the realm. I could continue telling you what I know, but from this point on, there's someone better suited than I am. If you're interested, I'd be glad to introduce you to this individual. What say you? Oh, now. I'm keen to speak with this person indeed. Very well. I'll send word to the Adder's Nest. If you'd take yourselves to Apkalu Falls, I'll arrange a meeting there. To go to such lengths to help us, I can't say how grateful I am. Do not mention it. As I said, I hold Louisois in the highest esteem. He was the one who brought our three nations together. Nothing would please me more than for him to be remembered. Well, it's past time I return to Ulta. Pray the coming into you bears you fruit. The Lieutenant certainly has great respect for Louisois. Thanks to him, we have another promising interview. Come, let's head to Gridania, where the Archon has sojourned. Is where I thought it was. So this is at Calais Falls. The conspicuous lack of the creatures aside, it's quite a beautiful place. Now then, the person we're to meet should be along shortly. I was told there were those who wished to learn about Louisoix, and who should be one of them but Captain Akatsuki. Well met. I am Lieutenant Sirio Fulk of the Order of the Twin Adder. Nananji and Naranji at your service. Thank you for sparing the time to speak with us. Think nothing of it. I must say, though, Lieutenant Aubrey chose the perfect spot for the subject matter. Louisoix spent much time in rumination here in the days before the calamity. We Gridanians being somewhat reserved by nature, at first the citizens kept their distance. But in time, people warmed to him. He patiently lent his ear to their troubles, healing herbs, offering counsel, gradually earned their trust. To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably say is not wisdom, it is indolence. Louisoix spoke those words and lived up to them. It was the epitome of a Charlean sage. I recall myself being moved. Now, shortly after we had become aware of the Meteor project, the hamlet of Quarrymen was attacked by the primal Garuda. Both soldiers and civilians were amongst the casualties. The Order of the Twin Adder moved to vanquish the primal. But we were not alone. Through Louisoix's mediation, we had the support of not only our sister grand companies, capable adventurers of the realm over besides. Using an artifact known as the Vortex Feather, the Archon opened the way for the band of adventurers to sally forth into Garuda's turbulent domain, where they felled the fearsome being. Upon her defeat, however, the primals dispersed ether did not return to the land. Instead, it was absorbed into the Red Moon Dalamud. But when the Empire constructed a new base in Mordona, the Elder Seedseer saw the need for decisive action, so brought forth a proposal: the formal reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, which had for so long lain dormant. The initial response from the other nations was lukewarm at best. They felt that the burden to be borne by each party was excessive. They were loath to do aught that would place them at a disadvantage against their rivals. But the revelation that the lunar transmitter had been erected in the Imperial base prompted a change of heart. The tower controlled Dalamud's descent. If it could be destroyed, then the Meteor project would be forestalled. After having constantly been on the back foot, our nations were motivated to join hands, that we might strike a decisive blow against the enemy. Thus was the Eorzean Alliance reformed, as the Circle of Knowing had hoped. At the same juncture, Louisoix was asked to join the Alliance as a tactician. In that capacity, he proved sage counsel to our heads of state. So although he was first treated with wariness, Louisoix earned our trust through his actions, paved the way for enduring cooperation between our nations. Indeed, were it not for him, we would all have perished divided. We owe Louisoix a great debt. Now then, I expect you might be interested in hearing about the operation to destroy the lunar transmitter. But for that tale, I would recommend you seek out another decorated soldier who actually took part in the operation. Although a hardened warrior, she is quite friendly and should be glad to regale you with her experiences. If I send her word on your behalf, we'd be most grateful. Very well. If you would take yourselves to Maelstrom Command in Limsalaminsa, I'll see to it she knows to expect you. With that, I take my leave. I pray the biography is a success. Welcome back. Everyone's been more helpful than I dared hope. Seems Louisoix has quite an influence on us. That interview gave us some valuable insights into his character. I'm eager to see what we learn next. Come, let's head to Limsalaminsa. There it is, Maelstrom Command. Shall we then? There, ever a sight for Sir Rise. And you must be Nananji. Rashant Ricky at your service. I understand you wish to hear about the operation to destroy the lunar transmitter. Indeed. I'm penning a biography of Archon Louisoix, you see, for which I'm interviewing people that had dealings with him. I truly appreciate your time. You're very welcome. I'd be glad to assist, even if it wasn't a request from Lieutenant Fulk. Now then, to continue where he left off, it was shortly after the Eorzean alliance was formed. My scouts returned with word the 7th Legion had activated the lunar transmitter in their fortress of Mordeaux. Now known as Castrum Sentry, the fortress was originally called Castrum Novo, before the 14th Legion restored and renamed it. It was in order to break through the defences and destroy the transmitter our three nations joined hands. We were determined to succeed. The strategy that Louisoix proposed was elegant in its simplicity. While our main force drew the Garlean attention with an all-out siege, an elite band of adventurers would infiltrate the castrum and make for our objective. We had entrusted adventurers with ridding us of the primals. Now we entrusted them with the very fate of Eorzea. I still remember the operation as if it were yesterday. Though we met with fierce resistance, we fought more fiercely still. No matter the cost, we had to ensure the adventurers had every chance to strike at the transmitter. And when the messenger arrived bearing that they had succeeded, it makes my heart sore to recall that moment of triumph. That day we learnt by standing together the people of Eorzea could oppose even the might of the Empire. It is no exaggeration to say that victory paved the way for Eorzea's future. Without it there would not have been an Operation Archon. Alas, it wasn't all glad tidings, for though we destroyed the transmitter, Nail Van Darnus appeared and claimed he no longer needed the device to bring down Diamond. He himself had the power to do so. So long as Van Darnus lived, the threat of destruction remained. So, branding him an enemy to all life in Eorzea, the nations of the Alliance undertook a desperate manhunt. Leading that formidable band was the adventurer whom they called the Warrior of Light. And though no records remain of the fierce encounter, one thing is certain. battle's conclusion, Elvandarnus was brought low. As you know, however, our woes did not end with the White Raven. The Louiswa and his disciples determined that Dalamud would continue to fall. In a last-ditch bid to prevent the realm's annihilation, the Circle of Knowing issued a request to the Orsian Alliance to secure the Cartano Flats, where the Red Moon was expected to crash. It was no simple task. The entirety of the 7th Legion had amassed in Cartano. It was necessary in order to perform the ritual to stop Dalamud, a ritual that invoked the power of the 12. So it was the Battle of Cartano was joined. So you know how the tale continues. To everyone's shock, the elder primal Bahamut emerged from Dalamud, proceeded to unleash his fury on the realm. Aye. Though all bore witness to Louiswa, as Louiswa initiated the ritual, none remember what came to pass afterwards, neither what happened to Bahamut, nor why the realm was reborn. The hues that afflicted the memories of the calamity. People remember the events prior to the moment, yes? If so, do you know if anyone was near Louiswa during the battle? Someone who may have spoken with him? If someone was near him, I'm afraid I do not know. It was atop the rise for the ritual, but I was a good distance away on the front lines. My apologies. No, please don't apologize. You've shared a wealth of information, I couldn't ask for more. Well, if you're satisfied, then so am I. That I shall return to my duties, forward to reading the biography when it's finished. Now, for grasp of events leading up to the calamity, and yet... Oh, forgive me, I was deep in thought. No small part due to your help. I managed to learn quite a great deal. Still more I wish to know. Might I trouble you to accompany me a little longer? If you're willing, please let me know. You'll continue accompanying me then? Wonderful. Come, let's head to the Drowning Wench to discuss our next move. Our research proceeds apace so far. We've even learnt things not found in literature. But tell me, based off what you heard from our interviewers, what's your opinion of Louiswa? I agree, he possessed great leadership. If not, he couldn't have established the framework to realise his plans, no matter how brilliant they may have been. But what struck me was how grateful the interviewees were to Louiswa for bringing the nations together in cooperation. It's nothing short of necessary for our side. Yet in knowing this, I can't help but wonder, in his capacity as tactician, it seems to me he had done more than enough by devising a plan and facilitating its execution. He went far beyond that, risking life and limb in the front lines for a land not his own. Perhaps he needed to be there for the ritual. Perhaps he felt a sense of duty. Even so, as noble as it is to desire to help others, good is it if you end up sacrificing yourself? What was it that compelled Louiswa to go to Cartman? And what went through his mind as the battle unfolded? In order to do his biography justice, I feel I need to know these things. If Louiswa had people near him at the time, perhaps he shared words with them in his final moments, words that could provide insight, where to begin searching for such individuals, assuming they exist. Sorry friends, but I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. Just so happens I know a bloke who served among Louiswa's guard at Carton. Truly? You know someone who was with him? And far as I'm aware, he ain't keeping the fact a secret. Just for good measure though, why do you want to speak with him? Oh, it was biography, eh? In that case, I reckon the bloke would be willing to cooperate. Orn Guncum's his name. He was lieutenant at the Maelstrom. After the calamity, he turned adventuring so as to be of greater help to the common folk. The Maelstrom officer turned adventurer. Would be most keen to speak with him. Where might he be found? When Orn dropped in the other day, he said he had business at Moraby Dry Docks. You're lucky he might be still there. Understood. We're in your debt. We can't let this chance pass us by. Let's take ourselves to the dry docks at once. But no, this event has been very good. And thank you. Right, where could Orn be? In hindsight, we should have asked what he looks like. His name would suggest a Midlander, but... well, nothing for it but to make inquiries. Let's split up for the task and meet again here. I'm sorry, I've only started helping out here. I'm still learning our customers' names. I couldn't say if it's the person you're after, but a man did come by earlier who appeared to be an adventurer. Brought an Imea lily. We're currently trialing. Orn, as it happens, I spoke with him just earlier. He said he wanted to go buy flowers, so I directed him to a vendor. Not sure where he is as of now, though. Looking for Orn Guincum, you say? Don't know anyone by that name, I'm afraid. Did walk by an unfamiliar fellow just now, though. Over by the mark of the spinner. Had a flower in his hand, so he caught me eye. There you are. Were you able to learn anything? So a man who could be Orn bought an Imea lily and went to the mark of the spinner. If we hurry there, we might be able to find him. Let's go. Do that thing. Are you in the right place? Begging your pardon, sir, but are you Lieutenant Orn Guincum? I haven't been lieutenant for years, but aye, that's me. What can I do for you? I realise this is sudden, but... So you're writing Louis Wa's biography, and you want to hear my account as someone who was near on hand at Carton. There must be a reason that you're here too, the warrior of light who led us to victory in Operation Arkham. Very well, I'll tell you my tale. Now then, where to begin? As you know, the battle was fought over the land where Dalamud was expected to fall. In the beginning, neither side was able to gain the upper hand. When the Imperials deployed their Magitech armour, our ranks were thrown into disarray. Those charged with protecting Louis Wa like me could only watch the carnage from afar. And though our forces managed to hold out thanks to the adventurer contingent, we sustained grievous casualties. The real tragedy was what followed. As Dalamud hurled towards us, it began shedding fragments of itself, before finally bursting open to unleash the primal Bahamut. As all below looked on in shock, the battle completely forgotten, Bahamut took wing and spewed fire over all the land. Men and Magitech armour alike were set ablaze and sent flying like so many insects. I only realised I had stopped breathing when a commanding voice broke my trance. You've done enough, Louis Wa told us. Now fly. Fly and save yourselves. Like my fellow guards, I wanted to remain. Charge into battle beside my comrades, at the very least, do my duty here and protect Louis Wa to the last. Upon seeing us standing there not making to move, Louis Wa smiled and spoke thus. You would give your lives to protect something, then protect my hopes. Every soul who lives to determine their own fate is a source of hope, bright and brilliant. So live, I bid you. Be among those who bear the light for others to follow. Those words awakened us to a greater purpose. It was there. If there was hope in my living, then I would live as Louis Wa bid. No matter what, I would survive. And so, together with my fellows, I began making my retreat. At last, we hadn't gotten far when an explosion erupted and sent us sprawling. I struggled to my feet just in time to see an enormous, menacing silhouette of Bahamut looming over Louis Wa. In the next instant, he was enveloped in light. That was the last I remember of him. Louis Wa's final moment. Amidst that light, he looked to be smiling. What was he thinking in that moment, I couldn't say. One thing's for certain. We, all of us, are alive thanks to him. Following the calamity, it was reported that Louis Wa had defeated Bahamut and set about the land's miraculous regeneration. Do you believe this is the truth? Every soul who lives to determine their own fate is a source of hope. What we've learned has reaffirmed my belief, Dan. The belief that Louis Wa was not an all-powerful saviour one reads about in the tales, but merely an ordinary man. But that man never forsook Eorzea. No, he stood for this realm to the last. He and countless other brave souls, and saved it from becoming a scorched waste. Against unimaginable adversity he fought, the cost of his life, paved the way to a brighter future for us all. Least I can do in return is tell his story, spread his message that there is life and there is hope. Thanks to your account, I believe I found an angle for the biography. I'm truly grateful. Would you care to offer a prayer as well? Prayer that light of hope, which Louisoix preserve shall ever burn. Calamity left deep scars across the realm. There was no place that did not want for help or a build. After being saved by our twin outer allies, I decided to become an adventurer. Better to honour Louisoix's legacy and aid to those in need. During my travels, I often hear your tales. I'm glad I could share my own with you. Allow me to thank you again for recounting your experiences to us. Nay, 'tis I who owes you thanks for giving me the chance to share Louisoix's words. All these years I had avoided speaking at the moment of his passing, out of respect. It would not do to take that tale to my grave. Through the biography, it's my hope that his spirit will live on in all of us. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I will resume my pilgrimage to the Mars. Wherever your travels take you, I'll be praying for your safety. Nymea is the symbol of safe passage. As Louisoix stood there in Cardinal, I wonder if he likewise prays for someone's safety. At any rate, these interviews have yielded everything I'd hoped for and more. Come, let's return to Uldar. I'll have a reward for you at Uldar at the Hall of Flames. No, I don't think it's related to the Thancred. I think it's just there's only so much you can get out of each race's model, so you're going to get some shared phases. There you are. Ended up troubling you longer than I'd intended. It's truly a fruitful series of interviews. How fortunate that we could hear from those who lived that fateful time. I still have many questions. The biography is beginning to take shape in my mind. I also feel as though I've attained a measure of closure. Louisoix fought simply as one of us, made the ultimate sacrifice that hope might endure. This I've come to realise and appreciate thanks to everyone's heartfelt testimonies. Now then, last but not least, I'd like to ask you for your thoughts on this. According to Orn, Louisoix smiled at his final moment. As he enveloped in light, what do you imagine he held in his mind? See, I appreciate your thoughts. As I pen the biography, I'll be certain to remember your words. Well, sad though it is, it's time for us to part ways. I'll set to work on the draft, and I won't rest until the biography goes to print. Thank you for all your help, my friend. Couldn't have come this far without you. And with that, we have actually finished the Rising 2023. So to those not watching the stream, thank you for coming, thank you for joining, and we'll see you all next time. For those watching the stream, we're going to do a